Hello, welcome back to another episode of SC Student Loan Speaks. My name is Destre Capers, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Outreach here at South Carolina Student Loan. Today, I have an amazing group of women with me today that are going to inspire and share lots of great information for future and current educators in the state of South Carolina. So today, I have with me Katie Cruz, and I also have Sally McCants from TeachSC. Thank you all so much for being here with us today.
We're excited to be here.
Wonderful. So as we hop in, I do want to learn a little bit about each of you all. So Katie, if you would introduce yourself to everyone.
Well, my story is a little bit of a different one.
Okay.
I'll tell you that I was raised with a belief system that too much is given, much is expected. Mm-hmm. And that really shaped a really deep community mindset in me from a really early age. So I started a nonprofit centered around volunteerism when I was 10. And I became a beauty queen, and I worked a lot in the area of volunteerism and United Way 2-on-1. That was my platform at the time. And then I went to the Department of Education, and I worked there for about 14 years in many, many different roles. And everything I did and all of the work there was really focused on envisioning a better future, supporting education, and supporting future teachers. And now I get to be in this role in nonprofit again, but also still in the education space and empowering and guiding future educators into the classroom and for what feels like to me really participating in the future of South Carolina, because to me it all starts in education.
Yes, I would agree. Awesome. Wonderful. And we have Sally.
Yes. So I come from a family of educators that have just been rooted and grounded in Columbia. And I have always felt after teaching for 26 years that I need to have more educators. I need to grow the education field. So I had become a teacher liaison in a sense, and really growing educators in South Carolina and finding their way and pathway into the classroom.
Yeah. So when you were in the classroom, what grade, what subject?
Great question. I was a December graduate.
Okay.
And that's when teaching positions were very different and they were hard to find. You actually had to bake cookies and write thank you notes to get a job. So I landed a job as an 8th grade pre-algebra teacher, knowing that I was going to teach 3rd grade. 3rd grade was going to be it. So I taught for 13 years in middle school. My family started to grow and went down to 5th grade.
Okay. Never made it to 3rd grade.
Never made it, and found my love in pre-algebra and 5th graders. Yes.
Love that. Awesome. Wonderful. So we have someone who has been in the seat that you're probably looking to get into. And then we have Katie, who has just a passion for community and volunteerism and building the future of South Carolina. So it sounds like we are in really good hands to talk about TeachSC and how it can be an amazing resource for those looking to pursue education as an actual career. So Katie, you are the Senior Program Manager for TeachSC in South Carolina. Can you tell us a little bit more about TeachSC?
Yeah, really the premise of it is meant to guide future educators, to empower and guide them in the idea of becoming a teacher. Mm-hmm. We focus most of what is on the TeachSC platform in terms of what we know future educators really want. Their questions and answers to things like, what program should I choose? What's the best fit for me? How am I going to afford that program?
Right.
And then also, what about those teacher exams? Like a lot of people have exam anxiety, and we help in that space. And then the last one, and I think this one is just so unbelievably human. Am I going to be good at this? Is this the right fit for me? We want them to walk in that decision confident. We want them to feel very supported. And that's everything that we do at TeachSC. We get rid of all the confusion, the barriers in their way, and we help support them so they feel really confident in entering that classroom.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. You know, I never thought about someone considering, would I be good at this? Mm-hmm. I think oftentimes when people or students choose a career path, they're just like, I'm going into this career path either because it's family has always done it, or I think I'm interested in it, but I don't know if they ever ask themselves, well, clearly they do, mm-hmm. Would I be good at this?
Yeah, I think another thing that the newer generation, and honestly TeachSC is for everyone, including career changers, but the younger generations especially are very interested in the kind of impact that the career that they're going to have has. We like to say that being a teacher is the ultimate influencer, right?
Yes, yes.
Think about those kids that are in your classroom, the amount, 20 plus, maybe less, mm-hmm. Year after year after year for 30 years. and the kind of lives that you impact and the, wave of that in terms of the future. As a teacher, you really are impacting the future in a very real, concrete, and extremely meaningful way.
Right. I'm sure we can all think of our favorite teacher at some point of time. Even the hard ones that were on us, it's like, no, you kind of needed that in the moment. And as you become an adult, you're like, I get it now. I was never the problem child, but, you do have some more strict teachers that really kind of give you some guardrails to follow. And what I tell my son all the time, I'm like, as a student, it's not your teacher's responsibility to morph into what you need, but for you to figure out how to match where your teacher is in their teaching style and then change it into the way that you actually learn. So we have lots of good conversations at home about that all the time. So from practice assistants to job fairs, resume writing, and coaching, which, Sally, that is actually what you do for TeachSC, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what that coaching looks like.
Oh, I love it. People, our advisees, are able to log into our one-stop shop, sign up for a one-on-one coaching session, and that could be through Zoom, telephone, email. I always text to check in and let them know that I'm on my way with a Zoom or a phone call. And then we just kind of talk about where they are in their pathway. Backgrounds with bachelor's degrees, master's degree, not a degree, and that's absolutely okay. They just realize that sometimes the internet is too big, and they just need some guidance and help in what's legit and what's not. So we have those advising sessions, and then I always send a follow-up email that is personalized with the links that we talk about in that session, so they can just click those links and let the internet do its thing. The other side of TeachSC that I do, besides the one-on-one sessions, is that we host group sessions once a month, which have been very successful.
Wonderful. So surely covering the entire state, you can't be the only coach, right? So how many coaches do we have, ladies? Four?
Four altogether.
Yeah, altogether. Amazing. And I'm assuming that they have an education background and it's a pretty diverse group of coaches. I think we even have a male educator over there as well.
We try to have a lot of representation there, mostly because people want to talk to somebody that they can connect to, that they can relate to, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different representation over the geography of South Carolina in terms of where they work, where they're from, the subjects that they teach, how they came to education in the first place, who they are as people. And, Wayne that you mentioned, he is actually a career and technology teacher.
Yes.
Which is a very different pathway.
Yes.
Maybe going through traditional elementary certified teacher. So there are many different ways a future teacher sort of comes to the career and looks, and we try to represent that in a lot of different ways to those coaches. And to your point, they're all teachers in the classroom, very closely connected still to the K-12 system. And that's one of the most amazing things I think we have to offer the platform, is that ability for someone to connect as many times as they want to for free. And they can really cover anything from, how did you even know this was the right choice for you? Or, I'm the first one to go to college. Can you talk to me about what this process looks like? Or, I've narrowed it down to these 3 programs and I don't know exactly which one might be the best fit. Can we just talk this through?
Yeah.
There is a lot of really smart technology on the platform. One of the things I'm really proud of is when you go there, you answer just a handful of questions, then a dashboard is designed for you. So you're not inundated with all of the information that does not even apply to you. But once you're able to sort of sit there, read through things, get the technology piece, you can also connect to a person as many times and as much as you want. And I think the combination of that's really important. And we work with partners all throughout South Carolina, and that's in unison with them. So there's an on-the-ground component too with Teacher Cadet, right? They use TeachSC.
Yes.
SC Student Loan, right? You've a start partner.
Yeah.
Sarah is in a partner organization, or maybe maybe you're just looking for a new job and you need, an idea or a concept of how to enter the teaching profession. So there's a lot of working together as a group in South Carolina to make this initiative actually work.
Yeah, and I think one thing that Sally mentioned previously when you started your career being a diploma graduate, the landscape of how to find the job, how to find the teaching position has changed. And I'm assuming that it has changed multiple times since that moment. So to have a resource like TeachSC to say, okay, this is the career fair that's happening, or this is where you can go, or maybe even build that rapport. I'm really big on ships. So mentorship is one of those things.
Right.
And so, you may know someone, or one of the coaches may know someone to say, you know what, I've walked this person through their journey. Let me pick up the phone and make a phone call, because you're really looking to get into Walterboro County or wherever you're trying to go, and really try to make that connection happen. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that, you guys, so don't hear that. But what I'm saying is you get to build relationships with people who are doing what you want to do. And I think that is very pivotal for those who are interested in going into any career. We just happen to be talking about education today.
That's specific. There's a ton of amazing resources, honestly, and many wonderful programs. We are really just a connector, getting the right person with the right program, the right support that they specifically need. Every college in South Carolina is a little different.
Yes.
Even the alternative programs are a little different.
Yes.
A lot of the partnerships we work with are a little different, and there's the right thing for the right person out there. And we really just serve as a good connector and helping someone figure and navigate that whole space out.
So I want to talk, perfect, awesome. I want to talk a little bit more about the coaching piece to it, because it sounds like it's not like an advisor that necessarily stays with you and sticks with you, but you kind of tap in when you need them. And then when you're going through your program, you're going through your classes, everything is going well, but then now we're at another pivotal moment where you may need to take a different level of the praxis, or life has happened, or whatever the case may be. So tell me a little bit about the coaching piece. Is it truly like I have to stick with the same person the entire time, or can I kind of come in and come out as I need to?
Yeah, it's a definitely come in, come out, tag when you need me kind of thing. And I do love those follow-up stories and follow-up questions, because I'm learning along the way. And you brought up a great point when you talk about the kind of the teaching platform and profile has changed in the way that we find our way to the classroom. And that just really includes all these pathways. And it's not just a 4-year school with old-fashioned student teaching that you can get there.
Right.
And so some people take, what I have to say as advice, which is great, and they do a few steps and they're like, wait, what'd she say? And then they come back or they'll say, I just don't know what to do next.
Right.
Because as a coach for these advisors or advisees, I don't make the decisions for those alternative certification programs. I'm just offering teacher to teacher raw advice.
Right.
And, if you get stuck, call me back.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to help.
I think this is a good example, too, of how the technology with the coaching piece sort of integrate with each other. So let's say I'm just interested in one particular program. With each program in South Carolina, we worked to build what's called a profile for them. So they can represent sort of that unique personality they have as an institution. There's also within that an embedded checklist. So if someone starts that process, we will automatically just sort of like nudge them if they ask us to, along the way of that actual step-by-step process. So there is a little bit of just, if they want a list or some nudging or some follow-up, they are allowed and able to ask for that, and the technology will do that. And then if they need to talk to someone throughout that process, and that coaching part is that human piece that's there as well. Another thing that I'm really proud of that's on the platform, and just coming from the South Carolina Department of Education, is so different, is there's this ability for them to, on that program finder, to cross-compare programs. Like you can see when the start date is, when the deadline is, what the cost of it is, how is it offered. And you can really visually actually cross-compare the programs and look at that and filter it down. I'll just give a random example. Not every single program in South Carolina offers a preparation program in music, for example. So you could narrow it down. It just saves you so much time before you had to do a lot of internet searching. We're sitting down with someone who really knew.
Right.
It doesn't really take the place of an advisor, but sure helps them in terms of saving them time with research and capacity, and saves that person who's trying to help you along the way, whether that's Sally or maybe it's just someone in your local community. Find the thing that you're really looking for and the right match for you.
That's really good, because sometimes you just don't know what questions to ask. So to have a comparison chart that allows you to say, oh, I hadn't thought of this. This is important to me, or it's not important to me. And then when you start to apply to those colleges, you get accepted. Now you're able to have more robust conversations to help you figure out, is this truly for me? or not. And really, honestly, that can happen before the application process starts. So I love that as a tool. My team has been going to a couple of orientations, and the school does have a robust education program. And so they know about the teacher loan program. And so this is going to be really exciting to share with those students. You may get inundated.
Oh, that's nice. We're ready.
Yes. But I think this will be a great resource for those students, because oftentimes you'll hear somebody start off in education and then they couldn't pass their praxis, or they got to student teaching and it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. But I just wonder if we have some different conversations a little bit sooner, if we could support those students throughout that journey in a different way, potentially, than their school could provide, right? And then get them to graduation on time, prepared and ready to transition into the workplace.
You really segued into a lot of the other tools or resources that are.
Look at that.
What I mentioned is there's also a financial aid guide. It's as simple as explaining to someone what is the difference between a loan, a grant, a scholarship.
Yes.
What's about FAFSA? How do I apply for that?
Yes.
It literally walks them through that entire process. There's also a financial aid guide finder where they can also do the same thing to find financial aid. They can filter through what might be out there, when the deadline is, go right to the application for that component. And you mentioned exams too. One of the things that we know, and one of the main reasons we offer help in that area, is it's so much harder sometimes for someone. Again, I think this is so human. Once I take and I don't pass, it becomes that much harder to pass.
Yes.
So a lot of what we do is getting in front and preparing people, making sure they realistically know how much time they should be studying before they go take the test, giving them the right information in advance so that they're not derailed and they lose, their passion for the future career that they want before they get there.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that are there are really meant to meet them there before we get to that space of frustration, or before, we're just kind of not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
And the other side is not everybody does follow a linear path to the classroom, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And a lot of those teacher cadets I talked about, they may go into a different field and then later on they are maybe don't want to do that field anymore.
Right.
Maybe they still like that, but they're a little burnt out and they want to connect back. And for a lot of folks, that's when they'll return back to the classroom, and there are pathways for that too.
Oh, I adore this so much. I'm all about community and support and finding where your support lies. And so sometimes when we're talking to students, I'm like, sometimes your support really may not be in your home because they may not have gone through this journey before. So being able to reach out to a resource and a tool and people, like not just a tool, you all combine the best of both worlds. You have your technology and you have your people. And I'll tell you one thing about South Carolina Student Loan, you pick up the phone and you call and you're going to get somebody in South Carolina who has maybe a little southern twang to it, but you still like you're at home because this person can truly understand. They live here in the landscape. We know what's rural, we know what's not. And so being able to navigate just that, it can be a really big tool, like picking up the phone and knowing you're going to get someone on the phone. And I know we like to text and we like to chat, but sometimes picking up the phone, scheduling that one-on-one time, going to a group session really is the thing that will like push you. Like, I can do this. I'm not by myself. I can imagine going to a group session and thinking, if I was a career changer and like, oh my gosh, there are other people here that are thinking the same thing that I'm thinking, that are burnt out and they want to transition. They're going back to their first love. And it's like, okay, I'm not by myself. I won't be. Usually when I'm with adult learners, they're like, I'm going to be the oldest in the classroom. And I'm like, you would be surprised. You would be surprised. So
Yeah, this is amazing. The biggest piece, which is the community idea, that they need to connect with someone else who has the same idea. And you're right about the one-on-one sessions. That's one of the main reasons we do those. A lot of times they might start in that group session. They're going to want to schedule a one-on-one. But also, if you do want to chat and text, we have that too.
yeah. The best of both worlds. Yes, that's amazing. Okay, so how would someone sign up to take advantage of these free, because they're free resources? How do we do that?
It's really simple. You just go to teachsc.org, and as soon as you hit the main page, you're going to be asked about 5 questions most, and you got a dashboard, and you're signed up from there on out. I'll also add that this is incredibly important to me because I know that I have signed up for things before, and I don't even know how what I need to do to not anymore. And that is not the way that it works.
Okay. Okay.
We are only going to give you the information that we think is really most important, maybe a few times throughout the year in terms of contacting you. And if you don't want to be on the list anymore, it is very easy to get yourself off of that if you want to. We're in the business of helping people along the way, not inundating and hitting them over the head with the concept of being a teacher. There are so many people who are passionate about going in the classroom. We want to keep them passionate by the time that they walk in that classroom. And one of the ways we do that is not overusing our ability to communicate with them.
So they can unsubscribe, but still have access to their dashboard.
They can unsubscribe and still have access to the dashboard if they want, or they can just totally not have an account anymore.
Okay, gotcha. Awesome. That won't happen. That won't happen. It sounds like they're a good steward of your email, of your personal information. So it doesn't sound like you'll have to worry about that. Okay, so here are some fun questions. I mean, we've been talking, this has been great, but what is your favorite, and I would like, if possible, both of you all to answer this. What's your favorite experience working with TeachSC so far?
You're going to go first?
Thanks. I'll do this. I was thinking about this, and then I can't find one particular person, but I can find a type of person. Okay. These are the people where life has just gotten too fast for them. Maybe they finished high school and they had to get a job very quickly for whatever reason, and teaching might have been a dream or not a dream, and all of a sudden now it is a dream. And they need help finding their way into the classroom. And there are programs where if all you have is a high school diploma, we can get you there. We can help you. And I spoke to a sweet wife, brand new wife of somebody who had been stationed in the military in South Carolina, so far away from her family. And she says, I don't have anybody to talk to. And there in that moment, I was her mom, and we talked about education. And she has a job now. I know. It's wonderful. And those are the success stories and the follow-ups that I love to hear.
All right. It's incredibly similar. Anytime I get to be in a room full of future educators, there's so many, honestly. I mean, I can tell you right now at TeachSC, there's over 35,000 folks that have signed up to learn more about becoming a teacher. I thought in the beginning of this role that really inspiring people to become a teacher was really going to be a huge part of it. And the real answer is no. The teaching is a calling for a lot of people. That calling has never really gone away. It's just so fun to be in a room full of people that are really so passionate and dreaming of being a teacher, and knowing that you're being that connector and helping someone fulfill what is their dream. And just as a mom that has small children, knowing that I'm helping people like that come into the classroom and the kind of impact that's going to not just have on my voice, but the future of South Carolina. When they're alive like that about their content or their topic, they're excited. That's who you want in the classroom. So knowing that we're serving as that in between and really helping them get there, that's really meaningful for me.
Awesome. Wonderful. I love that. So you get your cups filled in a couple different ways by working at TeachSC. Wonderful. Okay. So as we're wrapping up, here's my last question. I ask every guest this question, okay? What's one piece of advice that you would give young Katie or young Sally? And this can be education related. It can be preparing to go off to college. What would you give that young adult? What advice would you give the younger Katie, younger Sally?
Honestly, for me, it's bet on yourself.
Ooh, I like that.
You're going to have a vision that sometimes people don't understand, and that's okay because it's meant for you and not them. And you're going to make some missteps along the way, and that's okay because that shapes the path. But at the end of the day, trust your instincts, know what you know, and bet on it.
This is coming from someone who started a nonprofit.
That's right. A lot of people are like, excuse me, ma'am, you should just stay in elementary school. That's not ideas.
Right. I love that.
Mine's all about building relationships and networking. And that comes into play because sometimes you meet people that you don't know what has happened to them 5 minutes or a year before and why they are showing the emotion or the feelings that they are towards you. But if you can make a connection and make them talk, that will change everything. So relationships and networking.
There's that ship word again. I like the ships. I'll tell you all about them later. But yes, that's amazing. So ladies, is there anything else that you want to share or say before we wrap up today?
I don't think so, other than I'm just really excited to be here. We really appreciate this opportunity.
Yes.
And I think as the loan forgiveness programs, in terms of you want to enter into education, is a great way to fund your program.
Yes.
And I'm really thankful for the work that you guys do here, because it is a part of bridging that gap and getting people along the way on their dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us today and spreading the word about TeachSC and the partnership we have with you.
Wonderful. So this is TeachSC, okay, everyone? There are some great resources. So we will put a couple of links in the description box. Maybe something will pop up while we've been talking. We'll figure that out. But there are a lot of great resources if you're looking at going into education and you're trying to figure out how to fund it, if you're trying to figure out if it's for you, if you're trying to figure out your program. Between the, I would say, 3, South Carolina Student Loan, TeachSC, and Sarah, we can get you there. We can get you there, okay? Also, well, that is this is a wrap for our episode for today. Please come back and tune in for our next episode. But until then, y'all have a great one.